The trouble with readiness reviews, part 2, the pursuit of why. So in part 1, at the beginning of the week, we talked about, meeting the challenges of readiness reviews in such a way that we complete the formula of trust, but verify and correct the deficiencies. And that's as far as the next execution we're facing goes. We can correct all the deficiencies so that we go into this execution with a 100% readiness score. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience. That is a way better place to be than being forced into an execution with like a 60% readiness score. However, if we just leave it at that and we give ourselves a pat on the back because we hit our 100% readiness and now we're really ready to rock, then we're really kind of setting ourselves up to just do the whole thing again next time around, 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road, whatever the turnaround cycle happens to be in this particular facility. So we need to ask ourselves, why is this happening? Why are we facing these compliance challenges? And I know it's really easy to just say, oh, well, people just don't want to do their work. And it's really easy to blame it on some form of defiance disorder. They don't want to take orders from this other team. And, I'm not saying none of those more childish level things don't happen, but that isn't really the root cause of the mass of the problem that we face when it comes to compliance to turnaround process. So let's go one step further. We've already conducted a readiness review. We've already remediated the individual things through whatever level of leadership and management pressure was necessary to do that. But if we don't then continue on and understand the why did it happen in the first place, then we're just going to keep repeating this next time around, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, whatever it happens to be. We're not going to get anywhere ahead of it. So that is why part 2 is the pursuit of the why. And I would suggest that the right approach here is very similar to what we do with a root cause failure analysis. You're going to look at the problem you're facing and you're going to try to figure out what is actually causing the problem that you're facing. And you're going to assume that the people on both sides of any particular dispute want to get the work done. Okay? So I've got 2 examples from my own experiences that I'd like to share. And I've, of course, whitewashed all the particulars out of them so I don't get in legal difficulties. But the first issue that comes up, and I've seen this come up in lots and lots of turnarounds, and not just my own, there is a considerable synchronization difference in timelines. And what I mean by that is the turnaround process and the turnaround team is expecting a certain deliverable at a certain time, and it's necessary for the process to be successful that those deliverables arrive at the time that they're supposed to arrive at. But what if another team that's responsible for contributing a certain deliverable, what if they have their own process? And what if their process has an entirely different deliverable timeline than the one that the turnaround team is trying to pursue? And maybe it's even more than that. Maybe within that team pillar, stepping outside of the team's own guidelines is unacceptable. So that would be a good thing to find out, because that wouldn't be a very difficult thing to fix, but it certainly poses a massive challenge to creating that compliance to process that leads to 100% readiness reviews. I have another example. Sometimes I see it being, what I would call root level procedural is where the breakdown takes place. So I like to use planning for this one. You've got half a dozen different teams contributing to the turnaround. You have the turnaround planning premise. Which of these other teams plan work packages to that standard? I would hazard a guess that none of them do. In some places, maybe 1 or 2 of them do, but certainly they don't all do that. Well, why is that happening? How easy would that be to fix? That would be as easy to fix as having one planning premise for your entire organization. It doesn't matter what kind of work they're doing. A job package looks the way it looks, right? According to the premise that you've adopted. So again, you could address the why so that all of the breakdowns that take place when you're planning your next turnaround that might be generated out of a lack of synchronicity in planning would just not be there anymore. Just like if you correct when you've identified timeline synchronization issues, if you correct those things today for this coming turnaround, then our challenges in the next coming turnaround are going to be a great deal easier. And these are, again, things that having an Advando senior advisor like myself on site can very much help you to get all the way through, first to 100% readiness, and then to correcting what's causing the problem in the first place. Have a nice day. Peace out.